It's Jakey and Nando. Jake, I'm coming to you live from the garage because the baby's asleep and I can't go inside. Pandemic Jakey. How you doing?
Have guests like outside the garage and like open the garage for guests.
You know what? At the end, I'll open the garage and whoever wants to walk in my little development here can come hang out and ask you a question. How's that sound, Jake?
Sounds like I don't want to be part of that.
On today's show, I got the whiteboard right on top of me, though. Laviska Shenault, Daniel Jones, Justin Watson, Deonte Harris, Curtis Samuel, Ty Montgomery, Frank Gore. And if you got any questions, shoot them our way on whatever you're watching. This is the Fantasy Cheat Sheet presented by Jock Market. Check out Jock Market. It's actually a very cool game. It reminds me of buying and selling trading cards, actually. I know they're like a stock market, but it actually reminds me more of trading cards. So anyway, Jake, you ready?
Love. Yeah.
Look, I'm a child. I think we've spoken about this before.
Who are you talking to?
I guess you're right. Pan out, Jake. Let's take a look at those.
You'd have to go full screen.
Let's talk fantasy football, Jake.
Okay.
Laviska Shenault. Where do you have him in your rankings? Do you know off the top of your head? Is he high? Is he low? I looked before. It looks like you're basically right where everyone else kind of is on Shenault. But I mean, D.D. Westbrook was out last week. That has to show some kind of confidence in him.
He was inactive, to be clear.
Yeah.
So
he did not play.
Shenault is 46 for me right now. He might even move up with a few more inactives and injury reports. I feel mildly confident about it. I referenced this on the podcast. You didn't get to hear me. I referenced you twice this week on podcast.
Thank you, Jake.
Because the first week's show, one of your questions was, Jakey, what do you need to see from Laviska Shenault for you to trust him? And what did I tell you at the time? I need to see him running as the number 2. Like, that's the problem, is I don't trust. He was essentially on Cole's heels, and for all intents and purposes, he was kind of treated like the number 2. I think that even if the snap count is close between Cole and Shenault, I'm going to take Shenault. Shenault's much higher. He's going to get some of those Robert Wood touches out of the backfield, which I said was irrelevant if he was going to be running as the wide receiver 4. But like I said, he's essentially on that with a 3 wide receiver set. He's out there a ton. I think Shenault might even be low at 46.
Oh, wow. All right, Jake. How high would you move him? Into the 30s, or are we just talking a couple places?
No. I just mean, like, it's hard to put him in front of, like, the guys in front of him were like Anthony Miller against the Giants, Paris Campbell, right. Henry Ruggs, Deshaun Jackson.
I know that feeling. You're like, I can't. I want to move him up more, but I can't. Like, there's like just a brick wall above him.
And that's the problem is, I mean, the number 1s on a lot of teams, like Slayton and Mike Williams, might actually be the number 1 if we're going by the first week. Yeah, just because I brought him up real quick, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were both used about the same amount from Tyrod Taylor, but Mike Williams had 5 more air yards per target than Keenan Allen did. So if they see the same usage every single week, Mike Williams is going to end up being the more useful wide receiver.
That one's crazy, but he'll get hurt because that's what Mike Williams does, right? And that's his crutch.
He was supposed to be hurt for all of September, and he was supposed to be less than 100% for that game. He goes down hard out of bounds and pops up like nothing's wrong. I don't believe he was ever hurt.
Love to see it, though.
Yeah.
Jakey, you're high on Deonte Harris, more than the average bear, I would say. I think against Fantasy Pros expert consensus ranking, which is the aggregate of all the experts, I believe you are 20 places higher on him. And look, a lot of people are going toward Traquan Smith, and they're forgetting like Deonte Harris.
Rightfully so.
Sorry, Jake?
I said rightfully so.
Right, but I mean, Deonte Harris is also there. And I actually want to loop in Ty Montgomery, who you told me not to put on the list because he's so low anyway. But Ty Montgomery's there, man, and he had a couple good games, I guess, and he had a lot of good buzz and some momentum at one point as, that little hybrid running back wide receiver guy who you don't really know his position. But just start with Deonte Harris, and then if you don't want to touch Ty Montgomery, I believe my effusive praise was enough to carry him into the next player.
And that's enough. It's like a deep league flyer. If you're in like these 14 and 16 team leagues and you're desperate for an option, it wouldn't shock me. Really, what you're hoping for is a big player, a touchdown with Drew Brees. It could be anybody at any time. The Deonte Harris just really comes down to is the 3rd wide receiver, and it's always frustrating to try and trust Drew Brees because with no Michael Thomas, I think you see increase for Kamara, increase for Jared Cook, which I hate that, and increase for Traquan Smith. So what's really left over for Harris? But Harris versus Smith, I'm going to take Smith, but how many times have we ever seen the entire frustration of Drew Brees and the Saints is that the number 2 wide receiver isn't always the number 2 option, not even always the number 3 option. Harris is a little speed demon out there. They had him on the special teams. They got him usage at times. it wouldn't shock me. Like I have Traquan Smith extremely high compared to everybody else. Apparently, I love Traquan. I'm the only person who loves Traquan this week.
Jake,
but
I mean, you might be on the right side of history with that one.
Hey, look, and if I go down, like if you're gonna tell me the number 2, and again, I just talked about why the concern is there, but he is the number 2. He actually had more snaps and targets than Emmanuel Sanders last week. So not that I don't think Emmanuel Sanders is the number 1, but I don't know why more people don't want to get on board with Traquan Smith. But Deonte Harris, if he was used the second most this week as wide receivers, it wouldn't shock me. He's a super fast matchup problem for defenses.
If you're watching this and you don't know who Jake Ciely is, he's one of the most accurate rankers. What are you, like number 3 all-time accuracy on Fantasy Pros, Jakey?
Somewhere. It was like 4, 3, 5.
3, 4. We'll round up.
Just call top 5.
Top 5 all-time actually rankers. You can check out his work at The Athletic. We're not closing. I'm just letting him plugging The Athletic. TheAthletic.com/cheat sheet will get you all of The Athletic, not just fantasy, for $1 a month. Check this out, Jakey. It's Shawnee!
Hey, what's up, Shawnee?
What's up, Shawnee? All right, we got a question from H. Moo. I don't even know how to say this one.
Breadline.
Breadline. Well, I got that part, but I didn't know the moo part. If I had more time, I'd probably figure it out. Are you good with license plates, Jake? When you see a license plate, can you like in Jeepers Creepers?
I'd say like 50% of the time. I used to watch that game.
Half
that,
PPR.
That TV show.
What, really?
There was a TV show. There was a game where they used to do. It was a license plate TV show. It was a contest game where they had 3 contestants or 2 contestants on, and they tried to figure out the license plates. Don't you remember that?
I don't know why you're taking the phone. This is a fantasy football show. You're talking about license plates.
No, but we should talk about things that are not start sits because they should just check the link. Why are you putting the start sit up there?
Give them the answer, though. Be nice.
Montgomery.
All right, thank you. Here's another one.
No.
CD versus Sutton. Come on,
Check
one more,
the link.
Jake. It's the Eiffel Tower. Be nice. Obviously,
no,
romantic.
because this is no. In all seriousness, no, all joking aside, like we don't know about Sutton right now. You're gonna have to check the link later in the week. Sutton might not play again. That's legitimate.
Just Google Jake Ciely rankings. It'll take you right to him. Let's talk about Justin Watson, who you're also very high on. Well, not very high on, but higher than the consensus on.
I just see this. I like to answer questions that you can't get from the rankings. That's why, like, you have to parse out. I'm not trying to be a total dick.
Let's just keep Sean up here because he's so enthusiastic. Shawnee! We know Sean. He's our buddy. Great guy. Tremendous
You can put
person.
more up there if you want. But
No,
anyway,
all right.
go back to the Tampa Bay guys.
All right, let's talk about Justin Watson then, because this was an Emory Hunt guy. Emory Hunt loved Justin Watson. And I know you're on Scotty Miller, and I believe you have Scotty Miller ranked higher than Justin Watson overall. You're actually higher than the consensus on both of these guys. Jake, I wonder, why aren't more people on Scotty Miller? All Tom Brady has done throughout the last, as far as I can remember, is throw to his dude in the slot. Welker, Edelman, Scotty Miller, right? Like, what are we missing here, Jake?
Well, it's funny. I actually, at the beginning of the season, said that's kind of more design than it is a realistic thing because he threw to Randy Moss a ton. He threw to Brandon Lloyd a ton. It's kind of like who he's been given. So why are you going to put Sean up there?
Because Sean's the best, man.
Fearful. Anyway.
Sean's better than Reed. That's what I'm talking about. All right, go
yeah,
ahead, Jake.
of course. It really comes down to Scotty Miller is just the fact that he was out there so much last week. He was out there almost as much as Godwin and almost as much as Evans and actually running as many routes as them right behind him. And, of course, probably some of that was Evans isn't 100%, but now no Godwin. Scotty Miller's the first man up. I think Watson is definitely worth your attention, and that's why he's higher as well. I'm with you. The question is, look, you're going into a great matchup. I think maybe just a lot of people are assuming or hoping that Godwin's not officially out, but he missed practice. He's still in the concussion protocol today. That's Thursday. He's got 1 day to clear it.
Yeah, that's never a good thing, especially this early in the season, too. I had a follow-up question. I totally forgot it. So, on you. No, I remember it now. Phillip Rivers has turned Nyheim Hines, into basically the Phillip Rivers prototypical check-down running back who catches passes, hot ticket right now. And people are starting Nyheim Hines left and right, even in half-point PPR leagues, where really his value is hugely vaulted in PPR, but half-point is getting a lot of starts. Why aren't people applying that same kind of, this is the kind of quarterback Phillip Rivers is stuff to Tom Brady and to a degree Drew Brees when we talk about Deonte Harris and Traquan Smith? Like, this is what these quarterbacks do, and these coaches build systems around these quarterbacks. So why aren't we more fully embracing these roles that have been proven every single year to be what the quarterback does? Right, Jake?
Well,
Am I crazy on that?
No, I think the problem with Drew Brees is you have to include with Drew, like Tom Brady. Yeah, we just talked about it. I think more people need to be on with both wide receivers, more Miller than Watson, but both of them. I think the Drew Brees one is just because you never know who it's going to be. I mean, remember the tight ends of the Humanaman, Hui, whatever you say his last name. No, the Michael Humanaman.
Yeah, I know. Right.
And then Josh Hill, and that was the whole frustration of the tight ends. And then even back in the day of, what was the wide receiver that like had like a hit and run? Like you remember, like those days.
Oh, Dante Stallworth.
Yeah. Like those days where it was like 1 week it was Stallworth and another week it was somebody like that's just too Drew Brees. Drew Brees is never going to force it, and now you got Taysom Hill involved too. Somebody asked me where would I rank Taysom Hill at tight end if he was eligible, and I said he needs a touchdown. Like what are you going to try and get your 4 points from him? I think that's what he got last week was like
Jake.
4 points. Ty Montgomery, but that's the thing.
Oh wait,
like,
Jake. Look who's jealous. We were talking about somebody else. Sorry, Chris. Chris Vaccaro, by the way, Hall of Famer in the high stakes world, has a column out today on The Athletic. Great person.
Hold on, Chris. Chris wants to talk about asking for some meatloaf. I've asked Nando for JJ's vodka pasta for 7 years and haven't gotten it. So
all right, I'll get it. It'll come to you after the show, Jake. If you answer some more questions without saying check the link.
So real quick to your point, like if I told you like Monday we come around and all of a sudden the 3 most valuable players for the Saints this week in fantasy were Kamara, Ty Montgomery, and Deonte Harris, would you really be shocked? And that's the point.
That's a Saints game. Exactly. That's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is also you don't really want to start those guys because you know the floor is 0, but you know the upside is like 15.
Are they more DFS? Is Ty Montgomery maybe one of those DFS plays that you just sneak in there super cheap and you're like,
I'd rather go Harris than
I'm a
Ty
genius.
Montgomery.
All right, fair enough.
Speaking of which, I don't want to do this because I don't want too many people to notice. If you're talking about DK tonight and you're playing the Thursday only game, Harrison Bryant's 200, not 2,000, 200.
That's interesting.
I have a lineup with it. I'm just telling you.
Well, hey, we wish you the best of luck, Jake.
No, I'm trying to help everybody else too. Although that probably just ruins my opportunity.
No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people, if you see a $200 player, are going after him.
Because nobody's going down that far usually.
I usually start at the bottom and work my way up.
Yeah, usually don't find like a 200 guy down there.
Oh, I'm sure it's probably out there on Twitter, Jake. Come on. But that was very kind of you to sacrifice your lineups.
If
Frank
it's the
Gore.
best lineup and I just have to split money. Anyway, Frank Gore.
Let me just ask a question, please. Frank Gore. Can I finish? Wait, Jake,
No.
Matty Best is watching too. What's up, Matty Best? We'll get to that question in a second. I just want to shout him out in case you're just dipping in and out. Frank Gore, Jake, go.
No, hold on. Matt's question is so Nando.
Well, he knows me. We go back.
This isn't baseball, though. We know everybody in football.
Sean, and there's Vaccaro, and there's Matty Best. My guy is Curtis Samuel. Oh, everyone's heard of Curtis Samuel, though. I was on J.D. McKissick last week. Jaggy. I don't think I have a random. I'll have to think about that. Cole Beasley, everyone's kind of on, you know. Cole Beasley's actually getting some buzz.
C.J. Board, how about that?
I haven't gotten that. No, not yet.
He's the third wide receiver with no Golden Tate for the Giants.
I got a lot of. You know who? It was Naheem Hines. I've got a lot of him. I had a lot of him. I drafted him.
But everybody heard of him. Barkley, sorry, I'm trying to push Barkley. Barkley is walking around my feet right now.
Barkley's Jake's dog, everybody, just in case you were wondering what was going on there. Jake, we've gone way over our 10 minutes. Talk about Frank Gore so everyone can go home and get on with their lives.
I have zero interest in Frank. I have zero interest in this backfield.
But why? Is Frank Gore like 12 for 50 and a touchdown?
No. He's not better than Le'Veon. Like, Le'Veon Bell is struggling at this point of his career, but he's struggling because he's on the damn Jets. Like, Frank Gore's not better than Le'Veon Bell. Frank Gore might not even get the entire touches to himself. They might use Adams. They signed Kalen Ballage. What does that tell you? Like, just no. I have zero interest in this backfield. I'll happily miss if Frank Gore ends up with like RB2 value.
I'm still stuck on the random play. I can pick that right out, but I'm stuck, Jake.
Why are you leaving this up here? I don't even understand the reference. Why is my doppelganger in Alaska?
I'm assuming H-Moo Breadline lives in Alaska, and your doppelganger's there. How else would you interpret that one, Jake?
I didn't know if it was a reference to something.
Jake, I lied. I got one more question for you. Why do you hate Curtis Samuel? According to Fantasy Pros versus Jakey Rankies, you're like minus 12.
I don't
Curtis
hate
Samuel's
Curtis
good, man. Teddy Bridgewater loved me at 10 targets.
It's still the third option on that team. I would need to see.
Jake? Is he?
And okay, fine. I would need to see it more. DJ Moore's still the number one. Robbie Anderson's still the big play, and both of them are out there running routes. Like,
actually, he could be the fourth after McCaffrey.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Like, again, I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater is not going to end up ignoring DJ Moore and just make Curtis Samuel a guy. There's quarterbacks that prefer wide receivers at this point. But if you're telling me the pecking order, it's funny. Like, I go from being the guy who was concerned about DJ Moore and why do I hate DJ Moore this year, and I kept saying it was because of Teddy Bridgewater in this offense, to now I'm the guy that loves DJ Moore and I'm trying to back him up and hates Curtis. Like, this is what happens. It's an unknown system. And it's an unknown quarterback who, well, not unknown, but unknown who he's going to like. And I'm still not ready to dismiss DJ Moore after. I would go buy DJ Moore if I could.
See, I'm off. I'm on Curtis Samuel. I remember before last year it was Samuel and Moore. I don't know. You know, Jake, no one cares about me. You gave them everything they need. We've gone over our 10 minutes. I know you get cranky when we go past 14.
I don't get cranky with you. I just... workload builds up. Plus, you got to go drive anyway.
Hold on. This one's for you, Jake. This one's for Chris Vaccaro. All right, we got to go. Thank you all for joining us. We hope this is helpful. You can check out all of Jake's rankings at theathletic.com. If you go to theathletic.com/cheat sheet, you get The Athletic for $1 a month, where you can read Jake and Chris Vaccaro and a lot of other writers. We got a lot of fantasy football content. And then just regular award-winning stuff from everyone else. Jake Ciely. Nope. Jake Ciely. Not a Defino. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be here, I think, as far as I know, every Tuesday and Thursday. And then on Sundays, we got an hour-and-a-half show hosted by Derek Van Riper. We answer your questions. We bring in some of the beat writers. We talk some jock market. It's good times we'll had by all. So I'm going to hit the button, hopefully the right one, that makes us say The Athletic again. And then I'll play the little video, and we're out of here. Bye, everybody.
Bye.